Time for some global touring car and GTC Supacup action now. A couple of drivers have been promoted up from various other categories and a couple of new drivers to the championship as well for 2022. And look out for a couple of changes in the front end of both GTC and Supacup. It's going to be an absolutely incredible season, and we're about to go to it for the very first time here at the Killarney International Raceway. A big welcome to Volkswagen Motorsport back into GTC and Robert Volk at the front end, taking pole position, R2,500, courtesy of Dunlop Tyres. Let's catch up with Robert Volk.
Yeah, it's great to convert our pace yesterday on obviously in qualifying. So, well, I thought we had a little bit in hand, so it's great to actually convert it. And I think our race pace during the course of the day was really good. So hopefully we can have a decent clean start and yeah, use that little bit of race pace we have to eke out an advantage. Second race will be a reverse grid, so it's always exciting around Killarney. But all in all, I think we have a great balance, good car. Guys are doing a great job, so really looking forward to it.
Pole position for GTC Supacup, Keegan Masters.
First pole is always good, but a massive thank you to Team Perfect Circle for taking me on board for this year, along with my teammate Andre Poseidnotes. I think we're a good duo, and yeah, looking forward to the first race of the season and Cape Town.
Looking at the grid for that first race, Robert Volk, Daniel Rowe, front row, Mahotsi ahead of Liebenberg, Saud Variawa, good run from the youngster ahead of his teammate, Michael van Rooyen. The starting grid for the Supacup, Keegan Masters, Jeff Kruger, front row, Leighton Free and Keegan Campos, Donny van Niekerk and Jason Campos that make up the top six. Watch out for Nathan Hammond though coming through, and Sam Hammond, and Andre Poseidnote with some work to do for Team Perfect Circle at the back. We go under starters orders now. It's a rolling start, and let's see whether or not there's going to be a jump here from Daniel Rowe to get ahead of Robert Volk as they head down towards turn one for the first time. No, it is the InvestChem car, chemical logistics machine, that Toyota Corolla who leads things out. But a great start from Mahotsi, who forces Liebenberg wide, and the Hype Energy Howdy is going to be possibly into third place, or possibly to fourth place. It's GTI and looking for second place. We've got Daniel Rowe there, but a great start coming nonetheless there from those two GTIs. Moving back into the Polo Cup GTIs, the Super Cup machines, as they head down towards turn one. We go on board and you can see just how tight it is there. Good move there from Andre Poseidnote, squeezing a couple of the newcomers into this field a little bit further back than what they'd like to be, that is for sure. Oh, Davy Jabeur with a big spin coming out of turn one. Andre Poseidnote to take evasive action, goes on to the dirty stuff. Team Perfect Circle, here comes Hammond, also having to take evasive action as the two cars went spinning. One went right, one went left, and eventually got back on track. Jeff Kruger leads things out ahead of Keegan Masters. It's Campos right on his tail. Then you can see pushing through there almost instantaneously. A fantastic start coming from that third car and the fourth car, Leighton Free. Back to the front of GTC though, and the Gazoo Racing boys are coming at each other's throats. Variawa looking for a chance to squeeze through there on Michael van Rooyen. Just behind that, you can see they're lining up behind the third of those Gazoo Racing machines. And Amandla Nakani's got his hands full. He's got Julian van der Vat right on his tail. And bringing up the rear end of the field, look out for the hard charger coming from the back end there. That is the race driver SA car of Andrew Axtell. Remember, he was our champion, the outgoing champion for Formula 1600s, and now stepped up into GTCs. It's a big jump. It's going to take a while for him to get used to the extra power and, of course, a saloon car as opposed to an open cockpit from a single-seater. But needless to say, he's got an opportunity of learning from the best. And it looks like Brad Liebenberg is trying to show his fellow compatriots from Volkswagen Motorsport the way past and the way through. Leighton Free doing the same thing here for Team Red Racing. He, of course, is in the Elite Express and Team Red Racing Polo Cup Super GTI. And what a run there from him. First time out, remember, for this youngster. And he's in the meat of the sandwich between the two Campos boys. Behind Campos, number two, that's Jason. He's got a bit of pressure being put on there from a local man. And keep an eye out on Donny van Niekerk. He really has got a great turn of pace around this track and definitely knows his way around the Killarney International Raceway. But it's Jeff Kruger who leads the way with Keegan Campos on his tail. Team Red Racing out front ahead of the Team Perfect Circle car. And then it's Campos Transport in third. Free the second. Oh, that's a big one. That is Poseidnote stuck, I think, by the looks of things, in some very, very tricky conditions, and something went wrong coming out of the kink between turn. Oh, it's a massive one. That's Hammond on his side. So Poseidnote coming out of turn two just taps the back end of Sam Hammond. Hammond goes into the wall. Unfortunately, nowhere to go for Nathan Hammond, and he rolls over 1, 2, 3, 4.5 times there for Nathan Hammond. We're on board here with Nathan Hammond. Have a look at this from his point of view. This could get really ugly on this shot, unfortunately. What's this? There it is. Yo, that's huge. That is a big moment there. And just showing just how well these race cars are built. Hammond comes eventually to a stop. And is he able to move out of it? Yes, he is. He climbs out of the race seat and out of the car. Red flag was called. We go for a restart here of race number 1 of the GTCs and GTC Super Cup. This time, will Daniel Rowe be able to outgun the Toyota Corolla of Robert Volk? Volk gets a fantastic start. He leads things out. Mahotsi this time, I think, is going to squeeze Liebenberg out. Liebenberg is going to drop back slightly. Variawa gets ahead of his teammate. He uses that second start to his advantage and gets ahead now of Michael van Rooyen. Is that van Rooyen running wide? No, that's Variawa. Variawa ran a little bit wide there. Here are the GTC Super Cup cars into turn 1. Pressure on the outside. You can see just how tight it is between these guys, and they are really pushing it to the limit right from the word go. Nick Davidson in the background. Not the best start for him there in the second start, but a fantastic start nonetheless from Keegan Campos. Team Perfect Circle leads out over Team Red Racing's Jeff Kruger. We're on board with Nick Davidson, slowly but surely closing in on the back end here. And you can see this mid-pack battle. Oh, it's getting real in the mid-pack, that's for sure. The 96 of David Franco coming together. Davidson takes evasive action. He chats on the inside and gets out of harm's way there. But I think a little touch there between Schneiders and Franco was a big moment that Nick Davidson was only just able to avoid. Campos now trying to get through there. As he got a chance there on Campos. And Campos, remember, it's Jason versus Keegan. And then just behind that, that is Leighton Free lining up in the background. So some fantastic race action so far from these guys. Look at Leighton Free on his teammate, looking for a chance now to pounce on Jeff Kruger as they head down into Cape Town Fosteron corner. As they come through there, they are side by side. Lock up there from Leighton. And Jeff Kruger on the inside just uses a slightly inside line. Watch those hazard lights come on as he goes to the push to pass. Using that sort of DRS style system here for Super Cup to try and find a way and a little bit of extra power to get away from Leighton Free. Not an easy thing to do. This young man is fired up. Speaking of fired up, Daniel Rowe trying to close things down, but not able to do that. The hype energy Audi of Brad Liebenberg in third, ahead of Mahotsi. Mahotsi, what a move there from Raxtor. Where did that come from? Raxtor came from the back of the field. He's moved his way up into about 4th or 5th place there, and he's taken on both of the Team Gazoo Racing Corollas. It looks like there's a bit of trouble there for the two of them, because that Rafe Driver SA Audi is absolutely hauling at the moment and giving them a very good run for their money. Mandlin Nakani and Michael van Rooyen going at it here side by side with that Audi of Raxtor. Raxtor has definitely found something special here in the second start of this Global Touring Car first heat. Brilliant stuff from him. Behind that, Julian van der Vat. Then you've got Mandlin Nakani and, of course, Sauer Variawa bringing up the rear end at this point in time with a little bit of damage there. Looks like he might have gone and got a bit of battle scars on one of the cars up front. So there's going to be some fighting here. Mandlin Nakani now at the back end of that pack. Here is the move for third place, and it's on between Campos and Fanikak. It looks like Fanikak going to have to drive around the long way on turn 1 Holzhoek. As they come through there, they'll start to line up. JP van der Walt also having a fantastic start here to the second part of the race, just behind Campos. Got a bit of a bridge there over the Paul Luthi car, man from the UK, and Calvin Diaz, 2 new drivers to Super Cup. Great to have them here and extending and growing this field every time we go racing. I believe there's about 2 or 3 more cars coming by the time we get to Swartkops. So GTC Super Cups definitely becoming a big one. Saad Varia with a big one. He's driven the wheels off that car. Back left completely off the car there, and unfortunately looks like that may be a bit of a dangerous position for that car to be in. We'll keep an eye out for safety car as they get into the closing stages here of race number 1. Didn't quite go according to plan there for Saad Varia. His 2 teammates are flying high at the moment though, and trying to close down on the second place and third place battle just up the road from them. Looks like a little bit of issues there for Michael van Rooyen. Variawa moves out of harm's way. Goes across the beach sand. Double yellows down into Fosteron corner, so no overtaking whatsoever. All these guys will just stay line astern as they come down onto the braking point. Coming into some of the back markers now from GTC Super Cup as well. I think that possibly was Stefan Schneider. We saw him with an incident earlier on. He's now been caught and passed. The flag is out though, and Robert Volk is going to take the first victory of the season ahead of Daniel Rowe, who will be pretty happy with the performance of that Golf GTI 8 in its first time outing in 2022. Hype Energy's Brad Liebenberg comes through for third. Keegan Masters looking for the chance now to wrap things up here in the Super Cup class. He's got a big lead, and the Team Perfect Circle car has gone absolutely brilliantly. He's got Jeff Kruger and Leighton Free, who are going to be side by side by the time they cross the line. How close do you want it between the 2 teammates? Masters takes the win, and here they come to the line. Yes, Kruger just beating things out there ahead of Leighton Free, Keegan Campos, and Donnie van Niekerk. There's your overall results. Volk, Rowe, Liebenberg, and Van Rooyen ahead of Mndakani. Masters, Kruger, and Free, your top 3 in GTC. Oh, and Daniel Rowe with a problem. Looks like it's run out of brakes at the end of the straight. Yeah, looking at those brakes, definitely not what he wanted. Let's catch up now with Keegan Masters.
So the first start of the race, I got jumped by Jeffrey. Obviously got the lights timing perfect, which are unfortunate about the crash that happened in the class. The car looked very bad, but I heard that he's okay. But for the restart, had a very good start, hold my position, and I actually had a mistake after the first lap. and Jeff closed right up the back on me. But yeah, the team did a good job to stay in a good car, so I just had to keep it on the track, and yeah, ended up coming first and pulling away from them, so that was good.
Flag to flag twice there for Robert Volk in race number 1. Let's catch up with our winner from race 1.
Obviously a difficult race given the fact we had a stoppage and a safety car, so yeah, a lot of heat soak in the car. It was difficult to get going again, but we had good pace throughout the race. We had good balance, and I think yeah, we managed to break the toe towards the end. And obviously it was fairly simplistic the last couple laps, but yeah, kept us honest for the first 6 or 8. But now starting in 6th place, obviously after winning it we go to 6th. It's going to make it a little bit more difficult. This feels pretty tight, and yeah, we'll have to try and muscle our way through it a little bit and hopefully get a top 3 for the second one. A decent result for the day.
Welcome back to action from the Extreme Festival and race 2 now of Global Touring Cars and the Supacup class. We've had fantastic action so far. That is the kind of action we've seen, and there's some big work being done there by Graham Nathan to try and get Andre Besaidnout back on track. Looks like a little bit of damage there to the back end of Daniel Rowe as he ran out of brakes after the checkered flag had come out. And then we've got Sawad Variawa also with some damage on his Toyota Gazoo Racing Corolla. The Campos boys, they were doing really nicely, having a fat fight at the front end of the Supacup class. And what a start to Andrew Rackstraw's career in GTC. As you see crowds coming out here to the Killarney International Raceway, and they got a chance to actually go up close and personal with the drivers on the grid walk. But it's now time to go to race action, and it's an inverted grid for GTCs as Julian van der Walt leads things out with Mandla Nakani side by side with him. Sawad Varia trying to come back, and you can see a good start there from Daniel Rowe and from Mahotsi. As they come out of turn 1, it is the Ford that leads things out. Can Julian van der Walt do what a lot of these drivers have done in GTC in the past? Lead from the inverted grid and try and hang on. Ooh, Leighton Free with a bit of a tap into turn 1. Welcome to Supacup Racing as they go out of Holzhoek for the first time. Back to the front of GTC. And the Volkswagens are starting to come through. Oh, there's a big moment! That is a huge moment. A hype energy Audi getting absolutely lit up. Looks like Robert Volk might have just got the back end of him. And Mandla Nakani ends up flying into the side of Brad Liebenberg. 3 cars involved in that. 2 of them are stricken on the sideline as Supacup comes into turn 3. Jeff Kruger was leading that out. You can see some damage on the front end. Is that of Sawad Variawa again? So he had damage on the rear end in race number 1. Damage on the front end now of race number 2. Let's have a look at that one more time. Brad Liebenberg out of shape. Yeah, he comes across ever so slightly and he tags the back end of Mandla Nakani, and there's nowhere to go there for Robert Volk. He takes evasive action, just misses the 2 spinning cars, and then Sawad Variawa goes slamming into the back of Brad Liebenberg. So 2 Gazoo Racing Corollas out. Possibly 1 stricken on the sideline, 1 still circulating, but I don't know how much more circulation Variawa can have. He's stuck in pit lane. He may be able to get back on track once we go for the restart. We're back under starter's orders, and once again, it is the Ford Focus who leads into turn 1, this time with Michael van Rooyen on his tail. A fantastic start from the 43 there of Daniel Rowe again. This time, hopefully with his brakes all sorted out, we're on board with Keegan Campos for the restart of Supacup. And outside, that is Donnie van Niekerk. In front of him is his brother, and coming through the field rapidly. Good start from Team Perfect Circles, Keegan Masters, as he comes into turn 1. Look out for Leighton Fourie, making his way to the front end as well, and then just behind him is stablemate JP van der Walt. But it is Jason Campos who leads things out as they head up towards turn 2. On his tailpiece, looks like it is Donnie van Niekerk. Van Niekerk has got Leighton Fourie side by side with Jeff Kruger. Then it's Keegan Campos, Keegan Masters on his outside, or other way around I should say. Have a look at this. This is Nick Davidson's point of view on the start. Andre Besaidnout coming across. Oh, a tag! A tag between Franco and Besaidnout. Franco hits the inside wall, and Besaidnout with lots of damage on that car again. He's had a tough day in the saddle, has Team Perfect Circles Andre Besaidnout. It is Van der Walt who controls things from the front, but only just ahead of Michael van Rooyen. Michael van Rooyen now under massive pressure from Daniel Rowe. Danielson looking for a chance to come around the outside of the man we got on board with across the start-finish line and under the City of Cape Town Bridge. It's the GTI 8 versus the Toyota Corolla Gazoo Racing car of Michael van Rooyen. The Rustenburg Rocket taking on Danielson as they head down into turn 1, and Daniel hangs on to the outside line because he's got to give a little bit of room there to Michael van Rooyen. He knows that if he stays that outside line, it becomes inside for turn 2, and he might be able to make that stick and get ahead of Michael van Rooyen. Van Rooyen looks like he's not going to make it easy there for Daniel Rowe, and Daniel Rowe goes on the inside, and here, along for the ride, comes Robert Volk. Robert Volk is into the thick of it again, and he's now gone sideways and taking out Michael van Rooyen. Oh, Van Rooyen coming together there with Robert Volk, the two of them having a little bit of ding-dong, and a touch there between the 2 Toyota Corollas right in front of Mahotsi, waiting to pick up the pieces along with Rackstraw. Andrew Rackstraw right up there as well. Is that top 5 for Andrew Rackstraw? It is. Top 5 for Andrew Rackstraw. What a baptism of fire. Have a look at this. As we go on board here with Michael van Rooyen, here comes Volk. There's the tag. And he just spins Van Rooyen around and continues around the outside. Michael van Rooyen is not happy about that. You could see just from the gesticulation and from his body language in the car. That is the stricken Franco car on the outside. Welcome to GTC Supacup, David Franco. And welcome to GTC Supacup, the Wingfield Motors car of Donnie van Niekerk, getting a big touch there from Jason Campos as they went into turn 2. He just hit the front and Campos forced him wide. Rubbing is racing, it comes to this format, that is for sure. Here comes a move on the inside from Jeff Kruger. Kruger trying to find his way past on Leighton Free, his teammate. This is a fantastic shot from Campos' point of view. Great driving there from number 2. Remember, he wants to make that number 2 a number 1 by the end of the season. 2-1 odds there for Campos. Can he keep it all together now behind Jeff Kruger and Leighton Free as they try to close things down there on his brother? The front end, Julian van der Walt still controls things. He's got a little bit of battle scars on the outside of that car. Not quite sure who tagged earlier on. It might have been in that first incident as they tried to take evasive action with cars going left, right, and center. As we saw the Hype Energy Audi go sideways with Mandla Nakani. But he hangs on at the front end despite that damage. Daniel Rowe up into second place now with Volk on his tail. Looks like Danielson is going to have his work cut out for him because Robert Volk wants by and he wants by badly. Just behind that, we're back on board now with Michael van Rooyen. Look at this from Michael van Rooyen's point of view. This is quite an awesome shot. We don't usually see a rear-view mirror shot, but Michael van Rooyen is fired up. Look at how angry his eyes are as he tries to catch the back end of this GTC front of the pack. And it's going to be a lot of work for him to do because he's got to get through the whole Super Cup class as well. And he's right up onto them now. Look at that. Campos from Ferrari, and then we got Kruger from Campos. So Campos is 1 and 4 at the moment, and in 7th place in that pack is Michael van Rooyen in the Gazoo Racing Toyota Corolla. He's got to find a way through there on Donnie van Niekerk and on Keegan Campos and on Keegan Masters. Jason Campos. Oh, it's too much of an ask, I think, there for Michael van Rooyen. He's going to have to try and settle for as high a position as he can get in GTCs. Robert Volk, and he's pushing right underneath that wing of Julian van der Walt, trying to find a way to drive through on Van der Walt. But Van der Walt has got a great turn of pace here. The flag is out. He's going to hang on. I can't believe it. I've seen it in the past where GTC's inverted grid has worked out for the driver at the front end. And problems there. Somebody running off circuit. Is that Jason Campos? It was. Jason Campos has run off the circuit right in the closing stages, giving the lead to Leighton Free. The rookie hits the front for the very first time in his very first race. And this, of course, is the only second outing in this first round. He's now side by side with a multiple champion in Jeff Kruger. And now going to take on his teammate, the 2 Team Red Racing. 1 for Express Hire, and Kruger just gets ahead. Can you believe that? In the closing stages, 0.14 of a second between Kruger and Ferrari for the GTC Super Cup victory. Masters, Campos and Campos, your top 5, with Van der Walt taking the victory in the Global Touring Cars. What a start to the season. Let's catch up with Jules and find out how his day was.
Had a really good weekend. We were quick all practice on Friday. Qualifying didn't really go to plan. We still need to dial in and set up a little bit on new tyres. Started P9 and fought our way back to P5. And then on the reverse grid for the second race, we started on the front row. Really had to work hard, but we managed to bring the Ford back in first place. So really good weekend. Big thanks to WCT Engineering and InvestChem for the car they've given me. Can't say thank you enough for that. And yeah, we're looking forward to the rest of the season. We're going to try go for the championship this year. And you know, on a weekend like today, walking away with a win and a 5th place when we didn't really have the pace on new tyres, we can't be happier. You know, minimise the damage and look forward to Supacup.
Heading into Supacup, it's Robert Volk who's in 2nd place by 1 point to Daniel Rowe due to the incident that happened there. Julian van der Walt in 3rd place after a fantastic second heat. And Jeff Kruger leads things out for GTC Super Cup. We head to the Arena of Motorsport, Supacup International Raceway on the 23rd of April for the next round of the Extreme Festival. Come and join us. It's going to be absolutely awesome. All this Extreme Festival action is proudly brought to you by Comcare Medical Scheme, Dunlop Tires, Ferodo, the #1 in brakes, and InvestChem.